Thursday, September the 3rd, 2015. And I call the Platte County special meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is the public hearing, proposed tax rate fiscal year 2015-2016. A is to conduct a public hearing on the proposed tax rate of 0.66402 per $100 valuation for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2015. So I will open the floor for public comment. You are allowed 2 minutes. Please state your name and your address.
Do you want us up there?
Yes, sir.
My name is Dr. Jim Burley. My address is 115 Dewey Avenue in Walnut Hills. I have a couple of questions, comments. The first would be for Mr. Bromley, the Potter County Attorney, as to whether he's in favor of the tax increase.
It's not his call. That's a question for the Commissioner's Court in terms of what's necessary to fund the budget. Okay. That's the question we determine.
Okay. Have you all had a chance to read Mr. Blackburn's report?
I did.
Okay. What is the impression of the county commission on the what we have seen as outlined as wastage?
Number one, I think it's great that as a democracy we can come together on this day and everyone have their public opinion. I did read it. I'm grateful that I had the chance to read it. I don't think it's my position to tell you what I think about it. I'm glad it was done. I will take it under advisement.
Would you agree that the county needs an audit based on these numbers?
The county has had an audit in the last 3 years.
And who audited the county?
A company by the name of HOK. And they did it during our feasibility study.
Do we have results on that?
We do.
Okay. How would that correlate with what we've shown in the report? Was there any wastage identified? The fact that
I believe Mr. Bromley can probably speak to that as far as his office is concerned.
If it's to be believed in the report, people without bail spend 93 days pre-trial at $58 a day in jail. Those that do make bail spend 13 days. 89% have only one charge, a misdemeanor charge. There is a certain percentage that are going to be violent criminals that may have felonies attached, but that would only be possibly 10%. So I'm concerned that there is some wastage here, and I would like to see it. I would like to see the report addressed.
Sir, thank you very much. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Sure.
Jeff Blackburn, my address is 718 Southwest 16. Look, I want to address a couple of other things. How much money are you planning to spend on the demolition of the courthouse across the street? Number one. Number two, the creation and building of a new courthouse. How much? I've read the newspaper, I've read Mr. Kemp say, oh, we have the numbers, but they're just draft numbers. The people of this county have a right to know what you are going to obligate them to pay for. I understand your plan is to sign a secret certificate of obligation that no one has a vote on, that no one has any input on, only you do, am I right?
That is not correct.
Oh, you're going to say, okay, well, let me ask you this. Are you going to submit your expenditures for a courthouse, a new sheriff building, the demolition of that one over there, numbers for which we don't have? Are you going to submit that to a popular vote or not? Of the people?
I don't know, we haven't gotten that stage yet, Jeff.
Okay, well, what are the numbers like, David?
Jeff, I can tell you that the numbers, you'll be able to probably hear numbers on the sheriff's project. What coming up with the next Commissioners Court meeting on the 14th. That's in a draft stage right now, and we're still looking at the contract, preparing that. We're not ready to give that to the Commissioners Court approval yet. That's coming up on the 14th. At that point, then there'll be a public, and you can kind of take a look at it and see what. But those numbers will only involve the Sheriff's Administration project, which I would point out does not include jail.
No, I understand
So,
that.
but now the rest of it's we're still in the planning stages on that, so we don't know. I mean, as we draft them and we'll release them. But as you know, there's no such thing, Jeff, as a secret certificate of obligation.
Well,
And we don't even know if there's gonna be funding that way or not.
no, but the people don't get a chance to vote on it. You sign it, and then you reveal it to everybody and say, congratulations, you're gonna pay $150 million a year in raised taxes.
We haven't even gotten to the stage of deciding what we're gonna do or how it's gonna be funded. You don't have to go certificates of obligation. You could go a bond. And you know, with the amount of money, I agree with you, the amount of money's involved. You might want to have a bond election instead of certificate of obligation.
Well, I think you just might. I want to tell you though, here's the problem, and I think that I can speak for a lot of other people who I've talked to who are very upset about the situation. Here's what they think. They think that you all are engaging in a bunch of reckless, spendthrift behavior without stopping and thinking first, how can we save money in this county? I pointed out in that report that you can save millions of dollars easily. Create a pretrial release system. Boom, nobody in jail anymore, at least on misdemeanors. Probably not on most of the felonies. Easily. Easily.
Okay, Jeff, your time is up. Thank you for your comments.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Let me just add a point to that, and I appreciate your concern, Jeff, and as far as the representation of all the citizens and ensuring transparency there. We have endeavored to have a select committee of citizens throughout Potter County to be a part of this ongoing process, the representation from every precinct. And then while ongoing, it will be a systematic process that we will have various meetings, and we're going to also have meetings throughout the precincts of Potter County to ensure as much public transparency as we can. So we don't perceive that there's going to be anything that is going to be hidden. And we are anticipating involving as much of the public as we can. So to that matter, I think, and we certainly encourage any input, and certainly saving the taxpayers' money, one of the staunch advocates of that. But we also have to look at the county is growing, and the assets, number of service of people are coming into this county certainly require those services that we are endeavoring to make. And to that question, as far as what you've addressed in your report, I think one of the things that we're going to also be discussing too as well. That's also on the advisement.
And let me just add, Jeff. You know, your attitude towards this is pretty belligerent about it, and you don't need to be. I mean, this is something we as a group, elected officials, are elected to do this job. Part of that job is to maintain a place and a safe environment for our employees to work, a safe environment for our people to live. We have to supply this stuff for everybody, not just to piss you off.
Well, listen, Judge, can I respond to that for a second? You all mind?
Go ahead.
And listen, I don't mean to be overly belligerent, but I'll tell you this. You're running a broken criminal justice system here. It's stupid, and it's expensive, and it's wrong, and you can fix it. That's the upshot of that report. That's just one part of what you're doing. And the idea that we don't pay any attention to that, but we start spending more and more and more money on building gargantuan building projects that we probably don't need, that's offensive to me, and that's going to make me belligerent as a taxpayer, because I think the rest of the people have a right for you not to be doing that, to work on saving money in this county instead of spending it. And that's where I'm coming from.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Scott, would you like to address that issue?
Sure. I'm not going to address the courts project or courts building project, as that's a matter for future factual development. I did want to clarify courts benefit what an analysis of the numbers from 2012, since that's the subject of the report that seems to be so much an issue here today, reflects. Tracking the jail numbers in 2012, there were 2,330 inmates who passed through the Potter County Detention Center in 2012 who were charged with a Class A and or B misdemeanor. Some of those inmates also had felonies, some of them had parole violation holds, some of them had Immigration and Customs Enforcement holds, or ICE holds as we call them. But the total number was 2,330. The total number of days that were served by those inmates during their time in Potter County, again, inclusive of inmates who had felony time or parole holds or ICE holds, was 17,270 days. The average length of stay for an inmate in the Potter County Detention Center in 2012 who was charged with a Class A or B misdemeanor, including those who had other charges, was 7.4335 days. The total cost to incarcerate the 2,330 inmates for 17,270 days. If you multiply it by today's rate, which I'm informed by Sheriff Thomas is $52.55 per day per inmate, we spent $907,538.50 on misdemeanor incarceration in 2012. The detention center budget in 2012 totaled $9,552,196. So of that budget, misdemeanor incarceration was roughly 9.5% of that total budget. I respect the passion that is brought to this affair, and certainly I would point out that our office not only prosecutes misdemeanor offenses, but also represents Potter County Sheriff's Office and Potter County in civil matters. We have no greater interest in exposing the county to unnecessary liability or incurring greater costs than necessary for the county. We do have an interest in ensuring public safety and ensuring that each case is resolved in an appropriate fashion based on the facts of that case. Justice is a broad, grand word, but in practice, it's a particularized enterprise. And we're going to continue to try to do that. We're going to continue to try to get the folks out of the jail that don't need to be there. By the same token, we're going to try to continue to keep folks in the jail that do need to be there. Thank you.
Is there any other comment? Okay, B, to announce September the 14th, 2015 at 9 a.m. as the date and time for the final vote on the adoption of the tax rate. And Dave, can you also comment that we have another meeting coming up next week?
Absolutely. The second of the required tax public hearings on the tax rate will be Tuesday at 10:30 in this same room.
Okay. We don't need to take any action on item one.
No.
The next item is Facilities Sheriff Administration, Emergency Repairs and Relocation of Civil Department to consider and act upon approving emergency sewer line repairs beginning on August 25th, 2015 in the Sheriff Admin Building and taking further action if necessary. Sheriff, let's talk about that for a while.
Yeah, let's do this about that. And this is another one of those things, and I wish you'd stick around just because this is a fact that we do try to save money. But the building over there had a tremendous smell in it for probably 6 months. We've had facilities come out and look at it. We've had our guys look at it. We haven't been able to find that smell. We finally got my kid to come over there and look at it. And the sewer lines, not only the sewer lines itself, but also the vent risers were corroded and were breaking within the walls. It was to the point that it was making the people that were working in their civil division sick each day. Mike came in, they cut a hole in the wall, when they took the pipe out, it crumbled in their hands. We have fixed what was in the wall. And I say we might get that done. Fixed what was in the walls. They cambered the sewer lines, and the lines underneath the building and then under the walls are also in terrible shape and are cracked. He has temporarily fixed this at this point, which means he's fixed the vent risers and fixed what he put in the walls, and they've put a duct fan up on top of the building to suck the sewer gas out through the top. And this is where we've decided, I told Mike, and Mike agreed with me that we were not going to bust out walls because we would have had to bust out at least 4 walls. and bust up all the concrete, probably about 60 feet, to fix the sewer lines that are underneath the building. We are trying to save money through the county because we still know that this is an option of getting a new building. Not that it's a done deal, we all know that, but this is a temporary fix. And Mike did want to make sure that you understood that this is a temporary fix. Right now, we have the smell taken out of our building. It could come back tomorrow, or it could come back from 3 months from now. But I can tell you that it was a tremendous smell. We just had a hard time fighting it. And like I said, they finally came out. And we still have some cracks in the sewer lines from the bathrooms back out towards the alley. And like I said, we've got a fan that's pulling that sewer gas out. And the pipes are okay right now. We're gonna hope that they'll last. But we are trying to save the county some money because that would have been a huge expense to bust out all that slab to get to those lines.
Okay, so while you're standing there, letter B is to consider and act upon authorizing the civil division of the sheriff's department to permanently move to the 4th floor of the Santa Fe building.
Well, we have been talking about this, and again, this is just in conjunction with the upcoming plans, if they fall through or follow through. But we had to move those guys somewhere. As you all know, our building is completely full. We have no room whatsoever in that building to put 5 guys. So I came over and asked if we could move those guys to the Santa Fe building. We have a room on the 4th floor. They have taken up residency there. One of the things that we were looking at even further is if all of this plan comes together, is to move those guys over there anyway. And the reason why is because there's still a sheriff's presence downtown if we move all the way out to the jail. We're 15 miles away. This gives us 5 guys that are inside the city and still doing their work, but are able to respond to anything in the courthouses if something were to go awry until we can get in 15 miles away. But it also gives a place where the citizens can go and they don't have to drive 15 miles out there. We do fingerprints every day on people that come out for fingerprints for job applications and those kind of things. So that it gives them, we also have people that come in our front door and make police reports. We can do this with those guys there in the Santa Fe building. That doesn't mean that they're going to be sitting in an office all day. They still have their civil papers that they have to go out and serve. But we have made it where there will be at least one person in that office at all times. So it's going to kind of help us out in both aspects of that. But like I said, the main reason we moved them over there was for the office they had. But long term, I think it's going to be a plus for the county as well.
Okay, does that smell, does it involve the other part of the building too, or just that one?
No, it's mainly right there because our bathrooms were right there located there. There are days that it would waft down the hall, but we kind of got that taken care of.
Okay, okay, we'll vote on both of these. Let's vote one at a time to A, consider an act upon approving emergency sewer line repairs beginning on August 25th. Obviously, it's already been done, but we're going to go ahead and act on that now. So do I have a motion?
Yes, so I move that we approve the emergency sewer line repairs beginning on August 25th.
Okay. Second. Have a second. Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. 3-0. Thank you very much. And letter B, to consider an act upon authorizing the civil division of the sheriff's department to permanently move to the 4th floor of Santa Fe building. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. 3-0. Thank you very much.
And I know that it's kind of a delay, but I know that, just speaking for Mike, since he's not here, I know that he has the authority to make that an emergency call.
Right.
He deemed that an emergency.
And he did call
I know
me
he called
immediately.
all day long, but we really appreciate that getting done because it was pretty bad.
It was better. It was there last week.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe that is all we're talking about today. Thank you all for coming. Court is adjourned.